Okay, today we're going to be installing a new part to the R8. Now, if you've got one of these cars or if you've been in one of these cars, one of the main problems you're going to notice is wind noise. If you're driving this, you're going to have the windows open because obviously the reason that you've got one is the exhaust sound is so good. As soon as you get over a certain speed with the windows open, you get a really bad buffeting noise. There isn't really a way around it. It can be at low speeds, high speeds, and depending on what kind of conditions you're driving in, it's really bad. If you've not noticed it before, now I've mentioned it, you're definitely going to notice it. It really is quite bad, but we've come up with a really simple solution for them, and obviously it's in carbon. It looks really cool, and that's these window triangles, and you'll see they've got a kind of raised leading edge, which deflects the wind that is flowing over the car, which is what makes the noise. It's a really simple fix. Now these are a direct replacement to the standard window triangles, so these are easily removed and ours are mounted in place, which we're going to show you how to do now. Before we install these, just a little bit more information about the product itself. So as with everything that we make at Nitro Composites for the R8, and indeed anything we make, it's all made here in our workshop in the UK. Everything is made from the highest grade of pre-preg carbon fibre. You've probably heard that word before. That is brought into our workshop here, cut here, laid into the molds here, cured here, trimmed here, and then clear coated here. It's a hugely lengthy process. We're one of the only companies that actually do that here. If you want to come and visit us, we'll show you the molds, we'll show you every part of the process here in-house, even us spraying the parts. In our automotive spray booth, which is really quite cool to be able to say because we're one of the only companies that do that. Right, let's get these installed. So the first thing you're going to want to do is remove the original triangles. They're actually really quite easy to remove. You're going to need something like a bit of protective tape. You don't necessarily need this, but if you just run this below the triangle there, when you raise the triangle up off the car, you're going to need something like a plastic trim wedge, something like this. You can get these from Amazon. You get a whole kit of these for £5 to £10. If you haven't got any of these, I would recommend getting some. I wouldn't deem it a specialist tool. What you're trying to do is once you open the car door, because obviously it sits underneath the door pillar here, the part will lift up vertically. Now, depending on if these have ever been off the car before, it might be tighter. You might be doing it thinking this isn't going to come off. It will. It's fixed in 3 places. There's a hook here, a little hook here, and a hook here. And this one here is a screw, and that determines how tight the part is held to the door. So we open the door here, and we just very gently get this tool underneath. You'll see it's lifted at the front, lifted at the back, and that'll lift vertically out, and there you go. So once you've got the plastic part off the car, you're just going to need to remove this screw here. So that's the one that determines how tight the part sits against the door, and this little rubber plastic pad here, which transfers straight onto your new carbon triangles. So you can see that we've got the top hook, the screw. We've actually not taken the screw off that one, we have the spare one. So you'll just need to unscrew from the original one, transfer that onto your new panel, and then the little front hook there. We'll show you how easy these are to install. So you can mock this up, and you'll feel the bottom screw locate. You actually hear it click there. Pressure where that screw is so it stays hooked in place, and down, and you'll feel straight away how solid that is on the car. And you can remove your protective tape. Give it a little bit of a wipe down. And you're done. Now, when you're installing this, if it feels like it's slightly too loose, just take it off and slightly increase the tension on that screw. Just screw that in a little bit more. It'll just make the part hug the door a little bit more. If you've done it too much, you'll probably find that you can't get that screw to engage into the door. So then obviously wind it out a little bit, and that'll make the install much easier, and you'll probably find a sweet spot for perfect fitment quite quickly. Then the final thing to do is take the car out and see what a huge difference these make. If you're going to put any modification on your R8, I would hugely recommend these. Obviously, we make loads of parts for the R8. We've got wings, we've got air intakes, we've got under hood panels, soon to have a full carbon hood. If you can think of it, we're either making it or we're going to make it for this car, or in the process of making it. But this is such a cool modification. It makes such a big difference. If you've got a long drive and you want to, on a hot day, you want the windows open and hearing the exhaust, it just gets rid of that really annoying noise. You really will not regret putting these on the car. As with everything, they match the carbon, all the OEM carbon on the car. So you may have a V10 Plus, which obviously has carbon wing mirrors as standard, so the carbon is an exact match. Anything you buy from our range is. That can't be said for other brands out there. I've seen stuff that's completely different weave. I think everyone thinks if it's a 2.2 twill carbon, it's the same thing. It's not. We're not going to tell you what we use because we've worked all that out ourselves. But it's one of those things that once you see a part that isn't an exact match, you will never unsee it, and it will drive you absolutely mad. But if you haven't got carbon wing mirrors, for example, if you then either buy these from us, everything will match. It's all perfect weave alignment, the same weave, even the same kind of tint and colour to the carbon is the same. Thanks for watching. Enjoy.